I love the IDW comics and Sonic Frontiers a lot. Frontiers especially. I love that game. But I am not the biggest fan of how Sonic is characterized in the comics, constantly whining and doubting himself and going on these tirades about morality. I'm a much bigger fan of the way Sonic used to be characterized. I'm talking Sonic X, Sonic and the Black Knight, heck, even Sonic 06 to an extent. And while that version of Sonic had an emotional speech every now and then, it was never about explaining what he thinks, just a few short words of advice to those who he thought needed it.
Every world has its end. I know that's kind of sad, but that's why we gotta live life to the fullest in the time we have. At least, that's what I figure.
All that said, this AU is meant to take Sonic back to his roots, as a super shonen powerhouse. And, you know, also because swords are really cool. Last time, I showed 5 designs, the entirety of Team Sonic, Amy, Shadow, and Dr. Eggman. This time, I'll continue the pattern of 5 characters per video, but with some twists. In this video, you'll start to see some of the characters deviate more strongly from their canon characterization. This is an AU after all, so I'll slowly be introducing more original ideas as this series continues. As for the roster itself, we're gonna round off Team Dark and Team Rose, as well as adding another member to Eggman's team. So, diving straight into things, here's the first new member of Team Dark.
Yeah, Second normally puts the voice filter on me to make me sound sexy because I smoke too many cigarettes.
And here's that one bat with the boobs. Her design is another one that doesn't change anything too drastically, but it's notable to point out that I changed her eye shape and lashes. Other than that, everything else is just an outfit change. It's loosely based on the Metal Gear Solid 2 sneaking suit, and her traditional look, adding a few extra straps here and there to add to her super spy look. She has a holster here for her pistol, which is the same as Shadow's because they both work for gun. On that topic, I forgot to mention in the last video that my version of Shadow is still working for gun past the 06 adaptation, but his story isn't so clear-cut. He's introduced as a posing gun for murdering his space sister, obviously, but after the Heroes arc, Bro got hit with the amnesia beam and he decides to work for gun like Rouge does to keep the team together. After he regains his memories in the Shadow 05 arc, though, he realizes what Gun did to him, and goes rogue for a time. He realizes that he can do more to prevent Gun's corruption from within the organization than out, and rejoins. Moving on from my ADHD rant back to Rouge's design, she has the pick nails from SA2, plus cool size for close quarters combat, but similar to Sonic, her legs are where her power comes from. Now, for the third member of Team Dark. Completing the trio, it's E123 Omega.
Sand particles.
Continuing on the trend of Metal Gear inspiration, Omega is inspired by the Metal Gear Rex, and various Transformers designs. I don't know if it came through in the design itself here, but I wanted to make Omega a lot bigger than before, especially considering I increased the average height of the cast, as well as slightly increase his arsenal. He has chainsaw hands.
Chainsaw hand time?
Yeah, cool.
At last, I wanted to mention his proportions, specifically because I made his legs less stumpy, because I think it looks cooler that way.
Shooting fruit, shooting vegetables, and
shooting people.
Oh hey, would you look at that? Out of ammo.
This is where things start to get interesting. Cream has a very interesting story involving her in my canon, and it's all originated from a few ideas which I'll explain in a bit. The story begins shortly after our Shadow 05 arc, during my equivalent of the Meta-Rex saga from Sonic X. Cream up until that point was exactly like her game counterpart, except that she's been aged up slightly to match with Tails. Until her mother gets put in danger right in front of her. The Meta-Rex capture her and Cream to hold them hostage in exchange for the Chaos Emeralds, when the stress and unfairness of the situation causes Cream to unlock something. Her own Chaos-born powers. As she gets older over the course of the series, she learns to use these powers more as a way to participate in the anime action, coming into her own as a hero. What are these powers? Well, here's some insight into my creative process. Most decisions I make fulfill one of two purposes. 1, to be cool, or 2, to be funny. I thought it would be cool if a character as sweet as Cream were to gain a macabre power set as a fun contrast, and later I thought it would be really funny if sweet, innocent little Cream were to suddenly transform into a rebellious teenager, to the utter shock of Vanilla and the others. So, to bring these ideas into reality, Cream the Necromancer was born. I'll probably make a separate video about some of my original Sonic stories later, but now I think I'll talk about what you're actually here for, the designs. Younger Cream has these little shorts inspired by another redesign I saw, which gave her overalls. Her design spaces out the colors a little differently than her original design, mostly to lend better to my art style, as well as to parallel her teenage design better. She gets a black sleeveless pantsuit with an orange scarf and white trim at the bottom, as well as cool new gloves and little bows on her ears. Most of her shape language remains around, though. She may be rebelling, but she's still sweet little Cream under that sour exterior. Her weapon, the Dark Heart, is a small dagger that helps her command the shadows she has control of. She can attack with them like so.
Also, now I can do this!
Also, she changes Cheese's bow tie from red to black. Whew, that was a lot. I sure hope the next character doesn't receive any major character changes that will be long and difficult to explain. I hate myself.
Big the Cat. We all know him. Basically the Waluigi of the Sonic universe.
Big isn't actually being changed as much as Cream was, but as the last member of Team Rose, I did decide to take some liberties. First off, he's been aged down to 16 when he's first introduced. This is because I find it weird this random grown adult hangs out with these little girls all day. He would also be slightly more capable of communicating, sounding more young and talkative to match his new character. A shy and solitary creature, Big prefers to sit alone in the forest fishing with Froggy. If you engage in a conversation with him, he's rather friendly, and will rant about fishing for literal hours. Don't get him started. But if you mess with his frog, prepare to die. And here's our friend Big's big ol' redesign. As you can see, he now uses glasses, both as a way to make his eyes larger and more expressive, and to help push his new role as the fishing nerd of the group. His outfit is more rugged and outdoorsy, as well as covering his feet up. Okay, quick side tangent about the character's feet. In lots of official art, they're depicted as these weird paddle feet, and that's disturbing, but what's more disturbing is when people have the audacity to give Sonic the Hedgehog grotesque humanoid clompers, and that is not how we should do things. The only way I will ever accept Sonic the Hedgehog's feet to look is as paw pads, because he's an animal. He's a freaking furry. He has paws, not weird grotesque human feet, okay? Jeez, guys, like think. Just think. Moving back to Big's design, his weapon is a large anchor called the Dinghy, and he wields it like a giant axe that he uses to destroy anyone who touches his frog. His proportions are less squat, allowing for more clear posing, and his frog is adorable, you guys. Aww. Team Rose is now complete. Last but not least, the original Faker, the one and only Metal Sonic. His design is slightly inspired by Raiden's design from Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance,
Why are we here?
with hints of his movie design. Crap, is that too much of a spoiler? Has it been long enough? I'm pretty sure it's been long enough. Mr. Lookalike here is basically Metal's original design, but with some extra mechanical detail. Like with most of my designs, his limbs have been smoothed out to become more dynamic. His feet look a little more like Sonic's shoes, and he shares a few design similarities with Omega because they're both Eggman robots. Not much to say about his sword or blaster hands. They were made with the purpose of mimicking Sonic. Similar to Eggman, this was more of an art style change than a true redesign. Here's a couple of extra size comparisons, just as a little fun aside before we end off the video. Okay, first we got Team Sonic, Sonic and Shadow, Sonic and Amy, Sonic and Metal, Sonic and Eggman, Eggman and Metal, Team Dark, Tails and Young Cream, Rouge and Knuckles, Tails and Older Cream, and Team Rose. Now, quick reminder that the cast would get taller as they get older, so Cream here is the height that Amy was when Cream was short and tiny. Okay? Okay. And that's the second batch of redesigns done. What do y'all think? Is this AU your speed, or do you think I'm a useless moron who doesn't understand Sonic? If the second option is true, please vent your frustration in the comments and boost my video's engagement. I would be a very happy camper. Go ahead and print me them dollar bill. Anyway, read my webcomic Carbon Invasion available on YouTube Shorts and Comic Fury. Bye!